When your cat follows you from room to room, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it looks sweet, maybe even a little clingy, but behind that constant closeness, there's something deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do. And if you ignore it, which most owners do, you might slowly push them away without even realizing it. Let's start with what that quiet following really means. 1. It's not neediness, it's a silent bond test. Have you ever wondered why your cat trails behind you, even when you're doing nothing interesting? Most people think it's about curiosity, or maybe boredom. But here's what's actually happening. Your cat isn't just following your movement, they're monitoring your presence. In the wild, cats are both predators and prey. That means they're constantly aware of where the safest figure in their environment is. When your cat follows you, they're treating you as that safe point. Not a distraction, not entertainment, a reference for security. Think about that for a second. They're choosing to stay within your orbit because your presence regulates their sense of safety. And here's where most people don't realize the emotional weight of this. If your cat chooses distance instead, it doesn't always mean independence. Sometimes it means uncertainty. And by the way, if your cat ever suddenly stops following you altogether, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that really means at the end, and it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. Now here's where science makes this even more powerful. A 2019 study on feline attachment patterns found that cats form secure bonds with their owners in ways strikingly similar to human infants. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't just emotional, it's biological. When your cat is near you, their stress hormone levels like cortisol actually decrease. Their body relaxes, their breathing slows. Here's what's actually happening. You're not just someone they like, you're someone their nervous system trusts. Think about that. Your presence isn't just comforting in a vague way, it physically changes how safe they feel in their own body. So when your cat chooses to be near you, even silently, they're not just keeping you company, they're regulating themselves through you. And that transforms something simple into something deeply intimate. Now let's talk about something even more misunderstood. When your cat rubs their face against your leg, your hand, even your face. Most people see it as affection, a greeting. But here's what's actually happening. Cats have scent glands around their cheeks, forehead, and chin. When they rub against you, they're leaving behind pheromones, chemical signals that mark you as part of their safe territory. But not in territory in the way you might think. This isn't ownership in a controlling sense, it's inclusion. You are being added to their world as something familiar, safe, and trusted. Think about that for a second. In a cat's mind, the safest environment is one that smells like them. And when they mark you, they're blending you into that safety. You're not separate anymore. You're part of their emotional landscape. So the next time your cat presses their head into you, remember, they're not just saying hello. They're saying, "You belong with me." And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. Have you ever noticed your cat looking at you, then slowly closing their eyes? Most people think it's just relaxation, maybe even sleepiness. But here's what's actually happening. In the animal world, eye contact is intense. It can signal threat or confrontation. So when a cat deliberately closes their eyes in your presence, they're doing something very specific. They're removing their ability to monitor danger. A 2020 study from the University of Sussex confirmed that slow blinking is a form of positive communication in cats. Cats who receive slow blinks back are more likely to approach and show affiliative behavior. But here's the emotional layer most people miss. Your cat is choosing to be vulnerable in front of you. They're saying, without words, "I trust you enough to not watch you." Think about that. In the wild, closing your eyes at the wrong moment can be dangerous, but your cat does it calmly, slowly, in your presence. That's not casual. That's ancient instinct being overridden by trust. Now here's where it gets even more meaningful. Think about how your cat behaves around other people. Do they follow everyone, rub against everyone, slow blink at everyone? No. And that's not random. Cats are highly selective social animals. Unlike dogs who are generally more socially open, cats choose their bonds carefully. Here's what's actually happening. Every act we've talked about, following, marking, slow blinking at you, aren't just expressions of love, they're invitations. Your cat is constantly asking a quiet question. Will you respond in a way I understand? Here's what's actually happening. Cats don't need grand gestures. They don't interpret love through complexity. They interpret it through consistency. When you respond to their slow blink with one of your own, when you gently acknowledge their presence instead of ignoring it, when you allow them to be near you without pushing them away, you're speaking their language. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Every time you respond correctly, you reinforce their trust. Every time you miss it, even unintentionally, a small gap forms. Think about that. To you, it's a tiny moment. To them, it's a signal about whether their trust is safe. So when your cat sits beside you quietly, not asking for attention but simply existing near you, that's not nothing. That's a moment they're offering you. Remember earlier when I said if your cat suddenly stops following you, it matters? This is what I was talking about. Cats are creatures of pattern. Their behaviors don't change randomly. If your cat becomes distant, stops marking you, avoids eye contact, most people assume independence. But here's what's actually happening. Something has shifted in how safe they feel. It could be stress, a change in environment, or even a breakdown in communication between you and them. And here's the important part. Cats rarely express discomfort loudly. They withdraw. So when those small acts of connection disappear, it's not absence, it's a signal. Think about that for a second. The same behaviors that once showed love, when removed, show uncertainty. And this is where most owners get it wrong. They wait. They assume it will pass. But your response in that moment matters more than ever. Rebuilding that trust starts with noticing what's missing. So when your cat follows you from room to room, when they press their head against you, when they slowly blink in your direction, do you actually know what they're trying to say? It's not just affection. It's not just habit. It's trust. It's vulnerability. It's a quiet, constant choice to see you as their safe place. And when they offer you those small moments, that's not something simple. That's your cat building a life around you. And that presence they give you every day, it was never small to them. And it shouldn't be small to you either.